I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight TV, we're delving into the celestial realms with author Tiffany Engle. She has written a powerful book. It is called Guided by Love, Channeled Messages from Archangel Gabriel. Tiffany's extraordinary journey is not just a testament to her spiritual awakening, but also an invitation for us to explore our own connections to the divine. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Tiffany, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
I had to do a little research on the Archangel Gabriel before we started. I had heard of him my whole life. I'm a Christian, but really wasn't familiar with his story. And then I realized he is the one who makes announcements to us humans. Like to Mary, he announced that she'd be with child with the baby Jesus, correct?
Yes, he's the
Yeah.
messenger angel.
Messenger.
That being said, as the messenger angel, when I first started working with him, that was very intimidating to me.
Hmm.
It took me quite a while,
Yeah.
but his humor came through, and that it, I think calmed me down a little bit to step back and go, okay, all right, let's do this.
Yeah. Tell us about when you first connected with the Archangel Gabriel.
Oh gosh, I had been working with Archangel Michael
Mhm.
for a number of years, and I was introduced to Michael through Dr. Brandweiss.
Mhm.
Um, and Gabriel came through one morning at like 1:30 in the morning.
Mhm.
I woke up out of a sound sleep and I would just decided to start typing on the computer.
Mhm.
Quite a few hours went by, and then I decided, well, I want coffee. So I got coffee and I was like, wait a minute, what have I been typing? So I went back and I started to read it, and I'm like, where did this come from? Because I don't remember. So
Mhm.
now I'm freaking out. I'm like, all right, I'm losing my mind. And I had asked a friend in the metaphysical world what was going on. She goes, well, you're channeling. And I'm like, well, channeling who? She goes, ask. I went, well, good point. You
Mhm.
know, so, and that's how it started. And it just went from there.
So it's basically like divine inspiration that you have a conversation in your head, or do they appear to you physically or like in a dream? Tell us a little bit about the
The
your interactions
conversation
with these
comes,
angels.
the conversation comes through in, of course, my head. Nobody else is hearing Gabriel.
Mhm.
He sounds different. So it's not my voice, it's another voice.
Mhm.
And that makes a lot of people take pause, myself included at first.
Mhm.
As far as seeing them physically, I have seen them a few times, not all the time. Mostly I feel their energy, and I can discern their energies between either Gabriel, Michael, or whoever I'm working with.
Mhm. Tell us about your book, Guided by Love, the messages from channeled messages from Archangel Gabriel. What are the
From Gabriel,
messages you'd like our folks at home to know about?
first and foremost, our lives are not happenstance. We're here for a reason. And that reason is that we are all connected.
Mhm.
What is done to one is felt by all. We are all connected, and we're connected by that universal, unconditional love that we all call God or source.
Mhm.
And our lives are not happenstance. This is all about growing, learning, connecting with other people. And your everyday lives are your spiritual journey.
Mhm.
Recognize it as that and start taking the lessons from the things that you're going through, um, to learn how to connect and not to cause harm with another person, being kind and gentle with yourself, but also with others.
Mhm.
So our spiritual journey does not have to be very complicated. It's not supposed to be complicated. It's just remembering where we came from to begin with and what we're connected to.
And the folks who order your book, what will they find within the pages?
Hopefully, I'm hoping they will find for themselves that they can look at the things that I've wrote about my life and the things that I have gone through and go, oh my gosh, yeah, that happened to me too. Or I can understand that. And understanding that if you take a step back, give it a different perspective and go, wow, what did I learn from going through that?
Mhm.
And how can I help somebody else with this? And that was really my whole point with the whole book, is when he started to point out things in my life that I had gone through. How could I help somebody else through this?
Mm. Tell us a little bit about your own spiritual journey, your relationship with God. Have you always been a person of great faith? Tell us about that a little bit.
I have been.
Mm.
I was raised Protestant and then converted to Catholicism.
Mhm.
And I've always had great faith, but it was taught that we are to be fearful of God.
Mm.
God can be wrathful. That is not what I found at all. As I started communicating with Gabriel, source or God is unconditional love, period.
Mm.
We think of ourselves as his children. So Gabriel had me take a look and he says, okay, if your children do something wrong, are you going to smite them for the rest of their lives? And I said, absolutely not. And he goes, well, why do you think source would do that? And I was
Mm.
like, oh, good point. Never thought of it that way. It gave me a
Yeah.
different perspective. So it really gave me a good concrete foundation, a different way of looking at my personal relationship with God.
Mm. Now, your journey includes, health challenges. Tell us a
Yes.
little bit about how this experience deepened your spiritual path and your connection with the divine.
I was diagnosed, oh, now it's been 19 years, diagnosed with breast cancer.
Mm.
After surgery, I was cancer free, but at the time, 19 years ago, they decided that chemotherapy was the best. So they said 8 rounds of chemo. I said, okay, I can do this. I can do this. Even
Mm.
though my children were young, and
Yeah.
I want to do this, get it over with. I don't want to have to deal with this again. So let's do what we've got to do. So I did that. They used two different cocktails. Round five, I was allergic to something in the chemotherapy drug.
Mm.
When that happened, of course, I went into cardiac arrest.
Oh.
And doing that, I had a near death experience.
Mm.
Okay. So I was given a choice on the other side. Archangel Michael met me on the other side, and it was very loving. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't scared. It was a beautiful experience. But he gave me a choice, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't leave my girls. They were young at the time. My youngest one being 5. The
Mm.
twins were 8 or 9 years old." And I said, "No, I need to go back. I need to do this for them." But it took months for me to process what I went through.
Mm.
And then it took years to really pick it apart and everything that I went through during that near death experience. And it wasn't in our time frame a long period of time. And I had asked Gabriel about that. And he said, the universe exists between one heartbeat and another. And I went,
Mm.
wow, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
really gave me more to think about and
Yeah.
deal with. You
Gave you a
know,
new perspective on life, obviously
a
treasured
very
the
new
gift of
perspective.
life. And I can't think of a more harrowing circumstance than to have young children and then have a terrible diagnosis and then to have an awful complication. So thank God it's behind you 2 decades now. And we're happy about that. Now, you work also as a Reiki master and a
Yes.
teacher of meditation, and you integrate the wisdom from the Archangel Gabriel, I believe, in your practices and teachings. Tell us a little bit about that.
As a Reiki practitioner, I never thought I would teach.
Mhm.
And then when I did decide to teach, it brought me such joy to bring that gift to other people. Um, and Reiki itself is the ancient Japanese practice of hands on healing or energy healing.
Mhm.
And during your lessons, you learn how to channel the God source energy to fill you up, come out the palms of your hands, which is also a chakra point. and to help people heal themselves with that energy. Because it's not up to me or the practitioner. We're just a vessel for the energy. It is actually up to the person that's on the table to accept that energy and to start to heal themselves.
Hmm.
It,
Well,
it, it gives us,
go
I'm
ahead. It
sorry,
gives us what?
it gives us such great pleasure. It's as good for myself, health wise, to practice as it is to the person receiving.
Yeah. Well, it's a great connection to another human, and to be passing along the messages of the divine, both physically and mentally and verbally, I'm sure at times as well, is very, very satisfying. Tiffany Engle
Yeah.
has written a remarkable book. It is called Guided by Love, Channeled Messages from Archangel Gabriel. It is a story of her extraordinary journey, and it is a testament to her spiritual awakening. And it is an invitation for us to explore our own connections to the divine. Tiffany, I want to leave you with the last word today. Anything you'd like the folks at home to know? Any takeaway you'd like them to have from reading your book?
Yes. Trust your instincts. If something doesn't resonate with you on your spiritual journey, listen to yourself. You have that gift from God's source. Listen to your instincts. So if it doesn't settle well with you, find something that does. Find something that resonates with you and you're comfortable with. And it should not cost a fortune to learn
Mm,
any of this.
mm.
So be cautious and enjoy the journey. Have fun with it. Love and laughter and unconditional love is what it's all about.
Wonderful, wonderful. Great advice and unconditional love for yourself as well, to be gentle with
Yes.
yourself, to forgive yourself, and to be understanding. Wonderful advice, very inspirational. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Oh, thank you.
My pleasure. God bless. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.